Welcome to Between the Lines. I am Wendy Maness, and I'm filling in for Alan Beauchamp tonight, and we have a fun show. I might look a little nervous because I'm not sure what to expect because we do have animals on the set, but it's going to be a fun one. We're here with Little Ponderosa, and we're going to be talking animals and all about what they do for Anderson County and really the whole United States. So let's just start right now. We've got Cade here with us with Little Ponderosa. Hey, Cade, how are you?
Hey, Wendy, I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. I tell you, I'm just kind of watching everything because I'm having to let go of my control freak tonight. But it's going to be so fun. I'm excited about learning all about the animals that you brought and about Little Ponderosa.
Yeah, I'm excited to tell everybody about it and educate everybody on a little bit of what we do.
Yeah. So how did Little Ponderosa get started?
He got started in the late 90s. My dad actually started out just doing a petting zoo and pony rides, just traveling, trying to make an extra buck. And took up, and he always loved animals. He's always farmed. He was FFA, just doing something with animals all the time.
Right.
And then, 4 or 5 years into doing the pony rides and petting zoos, people came to him with animals that needed a home. And then come to him with the oddest stuff, emus, wallabies. And he couldn't say no, and he couldn't, he needed to give them a home. He was literally the Noah of Anderson County for years, he would take in anything and everything that needed a home.
And what was his name for those who don't know?
James Cox.
James Cox. And he just he passed away recently. And I know he was such a big staple in our community. It was all over Facebook. Everybody just spoke so highly of him. He really did a great thing when he started this. So he started with pony rides, and how long did he do that before?
He did that from 1997 till about 2008, and that's when we opened the zoo up to the public.
Oh, okay. And then when you opened it up to the public, what was his mission?
His mission was to give animals a home that needed a place where, they couldn't just go to an animal shelter or, a rescue farm or something like that. A lot of the stuff we got in was, from drug busts, bad homes. It was stuff that had been neglected, just been mistreated, and then they couldn't handle themselves around people the same way that, a dog or a cat would, or a horse that had been mistreated.
Right, and I would never think about that. You think about dogs and cats, and then the rest of the animals you don't think people have as pets, really. Yeah. But I guess they have everything.
They do. I know. Unfortunately, they do.
Well, I know. Growing up, I always heard about how people would have pet alligators, and then they would get too big, and there was this urban legend, that they flushed them down the toilet. But maybe that was kind of true.
I still believe that.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I still believe that. The alligators is the same thing with everything else. People will go, they'll think it's a great idea. They'll see a monkey on TV, and they'll think, oh, that's cute. I can handle that. It's, 20 pounds. Well, they'll go out and get that, and then, it's cute when it's small, but as soon as it gets, adult size and it's, feeling itself and it hurts somebody, then they're like, well, where do we go with this? What do we need to do? We can't just have him here. He's hurting really small kids. And that's where we come into play, and that's where Dad saw this need for, things like that to go.
Oh, that is so cool. And so would he just rescue things in Anderson and surrounding counties?
No, we would drive him. We've been as far as Texas, Alabama, Kentucky. We've been out to Oklahoma and rescued stuff. We've made some pretty long, lengthy trips to rescue things. Just, places that'll have multiple, a variety of different exotic and wildlife animals that people have taken in thinking it was a great idea. And they need somewhere to go with that can handle the amount and somewhere that can give the care to those things, those animals.
And when he first started and said, I think I'm going to open up this zoo, what was the family's response? What did they think?
You're crazy. That's never going to work. Everyone in the whole county told him, no, you're crazy. That's never going to work.
Really?
Most people, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's so funny but I guess when you're looking at the big picture and you go from doing pony rides to, saying, okay, I'm going to rescue all of these animals, it's sort of like, what are you thinking? Where are we going to house these animals? What has been the craziest animal that he rescued? Or the wildest, I guess?
I'd say some of the wildest. We went and got serval cats from homes that people have had out back, just in a dog kennel. We've rescued monkeys that people have literally raised in pet carriers. Things like that, yeah. They just haven't had much of a life to begin with. They just started out. People didn't know how to handle them. Like, well, I'm scared to handle them now. Then they just leave them where they're at, and they literally grow up in this small box, never get handled by people.
Yeah, and I couldn't even imagine that because, like, you think about a child, and if you do that and you put them in a box, it's sort of the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about an animal that has, a memory and emotions, and they're just like me and you. I mean, every animal is. They all have memories and emotions, and you're talking about something that's grew up its whole life in its own filth and has never been cared for and never been shown love whatsoever.
And when people have these exotic type animals, where do they find them? How do they even get them?
There's certain people that breed them, sell them. There's auctions, and these certain things like that. I understand as far as like transferring animals between zoos, between people that know how to handle them. But a lot of these things are set up where anybody can just go out and get whatever they want.
Right.
And that's something that it causes problems in the communities. Where people that do know how to take care of them. You get somebody out there that'll go out and they just buy a monkey, and then they take it to Walmart and it bites a kid. And then that makes it harder on people like us and other people that want to do the right thing.
So when your dad was deciding to start all of this, how did he learn about the animals?
A lot of it he learned through friends. He got really invested in like the educational field, talking to people that knew a lot about this stuff. He had a lot of vets that were his friends he'd met over the years. And they referenced him to people that knew a lot about the exotics, and they referenced him to people that knew a lot about wildlife. And just picked a lot of it up on his own. And we've had excellent zookeepers that have came in over the years. We've had people that worked at the San Francisco Zoo, Texas zoos, everywhere that have came in, worked with us, and we've learned a lot from them.
Oh wow! And so he had a lot of. I mean, you can go to school for education, but it sounds like your dad just was self-educated by learning as much as he could from everybody.
He was very self-educated.
And what was his favorite animal?
I'd say his favorite had to have been the tigers. That was his pride and joy, was those guys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, well, I was going to say it, but maybe I'll say he was kind of like the Tiger King of Clinton.
Something like that. Less
on a different aspect. Yeah. But, yeah, that's so cool. And so he had, how many tigers did he have? Two tigers.
Yeah, male and female, Gunther and Gable.
Gunther and Gable.
Yeah, they named him after the circus performer for Barnum and Bailey.
I always liked watching the tigers at the circus because it always amazed me how, I guess, the trainer would make them do all of these tricks, which also is not a great thing how they learn.
No, it's not. And, there's different ways of doing things. And, before there were animals rights groups and people to tell them, like, hey, you shouldn't do that, nobody knew any better. They just thought, we'll beat them into submission. They'll do what we want, whether they like it or not. And, there's different ways of doing things. You could train an animal with incentive and positive reinforcement and get them to do the exact same thing with a lot less stress on them, and it's just a lot easier to do like that.
Right. And when your dad, when he was getting started, what was his first animals that he started with rescuing?
He rescued a group of emus from, I believe it was Old Doc Butler out in Carnes. He retired and just wasn't able to take care of them anymore, and I believe that Dad got those from him. That was his first group of exotic animals, was emus. And then he'd always taken in goats, ponies, cows, things like that people they'd have a bottle calf that wouldn't take, and they didn't have the time to fool with it. So we'd take it in and we'd bottle raise it.
Oh my gosh, that is just amazing because when you think about your dad going from like ponies to emus and then tigers, and he's like learning everything he can to make sure that he gives them their best life.
Yeah.
That really shows his character.
Yeah.
And that really shows the kind of man he was.
He had a massive heart. He really did. And, me and my little brother Corbin are both lucky that we got a fraction of that.
Right. Yeah. And you're carrying on the legacy.
Yeah. Doing the best we can anyway. If we're half as good as he is, we're doing something.
I'd say he taught you pretty well.
Yeah.
But with what you've told me so far, and I can't wait to show the animals, but I have to pace myself to get there because Raisin is so cute. And I can't wait for everybody else to see her. But so he started the zoo, and how long was he active in the zoo before he passed away?
All the way from, he started doing sort of the zoo thing before we opened to the public in 2008. We did like private interactions and stuff like that. 2008 up until the time he passed.
Oh, wow.
He never took a day off. The man literally never took a vacation the whole time he was doing it.
He lived and breathed.
Animals. All hours of the night, early hours in the morning. Didn't matter. He was there.
Wow. And because I was asking you if you lived in Clinton, and you said y'all all live right there.
Yeah, we all live on property.
And so now that it's getting time to have, like, the animals are having their babies, are you up at all hours of the night?
Yeah, we have one night shift girl that works all night, and then I'm on call all night, and Corby, my little brother's on call.
So y'all are carrying on his legacy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to, like, show all these animals, ask all my questions, and
I don't think she can wait to be seen either.
I know she's really getting the hang of everything. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and go to break and let our sponsors be seen, and then we're going to come back and show you some animals.
All right.
Daniel Forrester has been recognized as one of East Tennessee's leading attorneys for nearly 2 decades. Civil disputes, criminal defense, divorces, and juvenile custody cases are all part of an impressive resume. Daniel's legal experience also includes representing clients in local, state, and federal courts. A husband and a father, Daniel is a Rule 31 certified mediator who has represented hundreds of families in Chancery Court. Call Daniel Forrester Law Office at 865-457-7900 for a free consultation.
From Oak Ridge, Tennessee, IB3 Global Solutions conducts operations around the world to enhance the U.S. national security posture and minimize radiological and nuclear threats. IB3 Global Solutions. Mission first.
Fan Gear Barn is Oak Ridge's source for new and vintage sports fan gear from around the world of sports. Find your favorite team gear at Fan Gear Barn, located at 977 Oak Ridge Turnpike, across from the hospital. Open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., 6 days a week. Closed on Sundays.
Hello, I'm District Attorney General Dave Clark. My fellow DAs and I successfully fought for new elder abuse laws and procedures that have police departments and agencies using improved tools to protect our seniors. Victims of elder abuse are often unable to recognize or report abuse themselves. They need your voice. If you suspect abuse, contact local law enforcement or adult protective services. Let's work together to protect our seniors.
When should you get tested for COVID-19? You have symptoms of COVID-19, such as runny nose, congestion, sore throat, fever, cough, shortness of breath, muscle pain, headache, chills, or loss of taste or smell. Current testing recommendations say everyone should get tested immediately if they have symptoms of COVID-19. If you have symptoms, be sure to follow recommendations about how long to stay home and away from others. For more information, visit our If You Are Sick or Test Positive webpage.
In East Tennessee, winter can be a wild ride of constantly changing weather and cold outdoor fun. Warm up with natural gas heat, hot water, cooking, and soft, comfy clothes. More affordable and reliable than electricity, natural gas makes homes cozy and more valuable. Whether you're a contractor or savvy homeowner, switch to natural gas for your primary energy source. Visit us online at orud.org or call today. Oak Ridge Utility District, your affordable energy source.
And we are back. This is Between the Lines. I'm Wendy Maness, filling in for Alan Beauchamp. I do want to say thank you to all of our sponsors tonight. I have Oak Ridge Utility District, IB3 Solutions, Daniel Forrester Law, and Fan Gear Barn. Thank you so much for sponsoring us. We're talking to Little Ponderosa Zoo, and we're going to start showing you some animals. And I might even be brave enough to bring her a snack over here. But her name is Raisin, and I know you've been wondering why we've been having these grapes on the table, and it's not because we were snacking, but because she was snacking. Mm-hmm. And she is... she's like so excited. At first, she couldn't really walk on the floor. She had to stay on the rug, and now she's gotten comfortable and is walking all under the table right here. And can you kind of tell them what Raisin is?
Raisin is a 3-month-old javelina. She is a member of the peccary family. She looks a lot like a pig, but she's a member of the peccary family, and they're like a sort of like a wild boar.
Oh, okay.
Similar. Javelina actually means wild pig in Spanish.
Oh, and where do they come from?
From South America.
From South America.
South Central, North, and the southwestern United States now.
And you said, you were telling me earlier, you asked me if I could smell her. Mm-hmm. And boy, I tell you what, I finally figured it out. She smells a little bit like a skunk.
Yeah, they're actually called the skunk pig. It's a nickname for them, skunk pig or musk hog.
Oh, musk. I have heard of a musk hog before.
Yeah.
I grew up in Mississippi,
Yeah.
and so maybe that's what I didn't know what people were talking about when they said.
They're in Mississippi just as bad as they are in Texas. They're considered a nuisance, but they really are beautiful and really neat creatures.
Well, then, yeah, okay, now I'm very familiar with them.
Okay.
Because
You remember the smell?
yes, I remember the smell, and then I also remember, they kind of, they multiply very quickly when they start having babies, don't they?
Yeah, they move in groups called squadrons, and their babies are actually called reds because whenever they're born, they have a really bright red coat.
Really? And she has a lot of hair.
Yeah, she does have a lot of hair, and they'll fluff that up whenever they get excited or scared or something.
So she's pretty relaxed right now.
Right now she is, yeah. She usually does pretty good.
And
She's wanting more grapes right now.
She's 3 months. Maybe I'll bring her a grape while you tell them. Can you tell them just a little bit about, you were talking about their packs that they run in and the smell and...
Yeah, they'll run in packs called squadrons, and then a lot of people, they say that you'll smell javelina packs before you ever see them because they smell so strong. They have a scent gland that's right in here. And they'll use she does not like that touch. Sorry, girl. They have a scent gland that's right there on their hind, and what they'll do is other javelinas will come up and they'll identify her by that scent. They all have their own distinct scent, and also as well they also have their own distinct nose.
Really?
A javelina's nose is just like a thumbprint or a fingerprint.
Wow.
Every one of them has a different one.
So, if you had several, I'm just thinking I'm thinking like a mom right now. You know how they take the footprint of the baby and their handprints. If you had several of them and you took that, it would be just like a thumbprint.
The little piggy prints.
Yeah, the little piggy prints. And she makes a sound. I don't know if you can hear her making this sound, but is that her happy sound?
It's sort of like a cat when they purr. They're curious. They're just coming up real antsy. Just getting ready.
And she's really happy, it seems like.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's getting fed treats one after another right now. I'd be tickled, too.
I know, right?
Girl.
She is, she was just sitting in that crate when we got here, and she was she didn't like the crate, for sure. But, so when she's at the zoo, does she have friends that's there with her?
She does have friends. She has a couple of goats that actually run with her. And then there are a couple of bottle babies we have, and they'll stay right there together. They're the biggest buddies.
Really?
Yep, they run right there next to each other.
And are they the kind of animals, I know some animals, they need to have companionship. Are they like that?
They're definitely one of them. They move in big social groups, usually anywhere from 12 to 30 javelinas in one group.
Wow. I don't think I would want to run into that many at one time.
I wouldn't either.
So when they're in the wild, you said they're sort of like a wild boar. So when they're in the wild, are they aggressive?
They can be. Usually they'll take away and run from people. The thing about a javelina is they have really poor eyesight. So anywhere up to 75 yards, they can make out a blur. But past that, they can't see anything.
Really?
Hardly at all. It's all a big blur past 75 yards. So they're the one of the animals that people can get the closest to and interact with in state parks and nature preserves and stuff like that without them ever taking off and running. So that's why they're considered a nuisance, is they don't care to move in on people's property because they don't care. They can't see them. It's not their problem.
So they just think they're just hanging out. Yeah. They don't realize that they're actually becoming a problem. And her little feet, I was looking at her little feet. And so does she have hooves, sort of like a goat? Or?
Yeah, she has hooves just like a little goat. She's just got two little separate ones there and then a little one on the back, a little dew claw. And they'll use those to dig burrows and holes, and they'll have their young in holes, like little burrows and caves.
Really? And when they have young, how many do they normally have?
Typically 2 to 3.
2 to 3?
Yeah, and they'll keep their young in their burrow for about 2 or 3 months. Up until the time they bring them out, and the only thing that they'll let their young run with is their older sisters.
Really?
Because a lot of the times the older males will be aggressive towards the new babies if they're not theirs.
So they let the ants take care of them. So when they are living out in the wild, and they have their baby in the burrows, but where do they normally live? What does their habitat look like?
Usually it's like the dry desert area. They thrive off of prickly pear cactus. They love prickly pear cactus.
Really?
Grub worms, insects, and certain brushes that grow out there.
And it doesn't prick them or anything when they eat them?
No, these things are tough. They're tough as nails.
Wow. And so I guess they like the heat. So what does she think about this cold weather we've been having?
She's pretty well acclimated. She came from a zoo out towards North Carolina, and they'll have a mild winter. We got her from them as an educational animal to use for us in our educational shows with field trips and birthday party done with the mango. So she's pretty well acclimated. Now, like in the desert, will get pretty cold at night too. So they do fairly well with that. That's why they have all that hair for insulation and purposes.
That is so. And I've always heard, and I don't know if she is, but I've always heard that, the black bear we have here and pigs are closely related. And so I guess she's sort of in that same family. Is that
similar? Yeah, they're actually not related to pigs. These are considered a New World animal.
Okay.
Which means they come from South America, Central America, North America. And a pig is Old World, which means it comes from Europe, Asia, Africa.
I did not know that.
Yep.
So she's a New World animal. How many? Do you have a lot of New World animals at Little Ponderosa?
We do. We have a lot of our stuff that we'll get is non-releasable animals that come into us, like raccoons, possums, hawks, owls, and a lot of those are New World. And we'll also have New World monkeys, which are like capuchins and such. Anything that's from South America. A lot of our snakes and things are New World.
Right.
She's having a good
just
time.
having so much fun over there.
She's like, where's my food
She
at?
was like, where's my food?
Yeah, she's like, why'd
so
you stop
what kind of food does she, I know she likes grapes. What else does she like besides grapes and the cactus?
Potatoes, carrots, corn, loves all that stuff. And they have a special diet for them too that has just a little bit of the vitamins and stuff they need.
Right.
But past that, pretty much anything. They'll eat about anything. If they'll eat a cactus, they'll eat anything.
Right. And so you said she hangs out with the goats. I bet they have a good time.
Oh, yeah. She thinks she's one of them.
Does she?
Yeah, she does. She runs right with them.
Oh, she's like, why am I not as big as them? But she's just so cute. And how's their hearing? You said their eyesight's not very good. How's
their
their
hearing and their scent is the main way they kind of figure out what's around them and what's going on. That's how they'll listen for predators and they'll listen for grubs. That's one of the main things they'll eat, grub worms and stuff like that in the ground.
So they can dig pretty well.
Yeah, they can dig extremely well. They can use that nose and their little hoofs to dig about a 6-inch hole in a matter of seconds.
And how big will she get?
She'll get anywhere from about 35 to 60 pounds.
Wow.
Top end 60 pounds.
Yeah.
A lot of the males will hit 60, but she'll probably find somewhere in the median right there.
And how tall?
Usually about 30 inches tall at the back.
Okay,
so she won't get real big at all.
Not real big at all. Yeah. Like a medium, small dog.
Yeah, sort of similar like that, or about the size of a potbelly pig, but she's a little bit more athletic.
Yes. My cousin had a potbelly pig when I was growing up, and she lived in Texas, and so they had this big house, but the potbelly pig actually had its own bedroom. And so it would go to bed and sleep in its little bed in its bedroom, and I was like, oh my gosh, that potbelly pig is just spoiled.
A member of the family.
Right. Animals are fun though. How did you? I know your dad was doing it. Did you just have an interest in it right off? Or?
I always loved it. And that's what I planned on doing as soon as I was old enough to think about that. When you're in high school and they're like, "What do you want to do? What do you want to go to school for?" And I was like, "I'm going to work with my dad at the zoo. That's what I'm going to do." And they're like, "Oh, you can't do that thing. Do something else. Do a career. Something like that." I was like, "No, I know what I'm going to do. I had my mind made up way before I ever started. Before I graduated high school."
And how old were you when you started working with him?
11.
You found that love pretty quickly.
Yeah, pretty quickly, yeah. Well, and I enjoy traveling anywhere with my dad. We had a good time. Dad, my older brother, and all that. We always had a good time everywhere we went.
And what's your favorite place you ever went with him to rescue an animal?
We went to Alabama right after the tornadoes ripped through there not a few years ago, but several years ago now. Do you remember all that? Mm-hmm. We went down there, and there were some people that had some 2 or 3 exotics, had a lemur, and if I remember right, I think a serval was there too.
And what is that?
It's like the best way I can describe it's like a miniature cheetah.
Oh,
They're
wow.
probably weighing anywhere about 50, 60 pounds.
Wow.
Like that,
that just blows my mind that people have those and just in their house.
And sometimes it's people that they don't have it as a pet, but they're trying to start a little business or something like that, and they'll get all of them together and have people come see them or take them places and do educational stuff. And this situation right here we went to it was something similar to that.
Right.
They had all these animals and they were super sweet. The people took good care of them. It was just the tornado came through, destroyed homes, knocked out power. People didn't have no way of getting anywhere. And I remember going down there and we're going into a dark room and there's a lemur in a cage. You couldn't tell where he was at.
And okay, so a lemur. Explain to me. I know I've seen like Madagascar,
Yeah.
so I kind of know what it is. But explain to me, where do they come from and like what
They're only found native in the island of Madagascar.
Okay.
They're one of the critically endangered primates, actually, lemurs are.
Wow.
Because they're only found in that one place. Now, there's plenty of them in the United States because people breed them, but they're endangered as far as native goes.
Okay.
They move in massive troops, lemurs do.
Right.
Yeah.
She's just going everywhere
Sorry,
now.
buddy. Yeah, it's just want more grapes.
Wanting more grapes.
Yeah.
I understand. I like grapes too. So when there's up there, I want to eat them as well. Yes. But right now, we are going to take a little break, and we will be right back to continue talking about Little Ponderosa Zoo. Stay tuned.
Daniel Forrester has been recognized as one of East Tennessee's leading attorneys for nearly 2 decades. Civil disputes, criminal defense, divorces, and juvenile custody cases are all part of an impressive resume. Daniel's legal experience also includes representing clients in local, state, and federal courts. A husband and a father, Daniel is a Rule 31 certified mediator who has represented hundreds of families in Chancery Court. Call Daniel Forrester Law Office at 865-457-7900 for a free consultation.
We should never lose sight of our health. To keep moving forward, let's not forget everything we've learned. Limit the salty food options. Make your own daily exercise routine. And always receive regular checkups. More than anything, we have learned how important these small steps can make a big difference, so we can all continue to move forward together.
In East Tennessee, winter can be a wild ride of constantly changing weather and cold outdoor fun. Warm up with natural gas heat, hot water, cooking, and soft, comfy clothes. More affordable and reliable than electricity, natural gas makes homes cozy and more valuable. Whether you're a contractor or savvy homeowner, switch to natural gas for your primary energy source. Visit us online at orud.org or call today. Oak Ridge Utility District, your affordable energy source.
From Oak Ridge, Tennessee, IB3 Global Solutions conducts operations around the world to enhance the U.S. national security posture and minimize radiological and nuclear threats. IB3 Global Solutions. Mission first.
Hello, I'm District Attorney General Dave Clark. My fellow DAs and I successfully fought for new elder abuse laws and procedures that have police departments and agencies using improved tools to protect our seniors. Victims of elder abuse are often unable to recognize or report abuse themselves. They need your voice. If you suspect abuse, contact local law enforcement or adult protective services. Let's work together to protect our seniors.
Fan Gear Barn is Oak Ridge's source for new and vintage sports fan gear from around the world of sports. Find your favorite team gear at Fan Gear Barn, located at 977 Oak Ridge Turnpike, across from the hospital. Open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., 6 days a week. Closed on Sundays.
And we are back on Between the Lines, and I'm Wendy Maness, filling in for Alan Beauchamp. He'll be back in a couple of weeks with you. But I do want to take time to thank our sponsors, and we have Oak Ridge Utility District. Thank you very much. And then Daniel Forrester Law. We also have IB3 Global Solutions and Fan Gear Barn. And I am very nervous now because there's a snake right beside me, and there's 2 animals that I'm kind of like afraid of, mice and snakes. And what do we have here?
This is Rosie. She's a 14-year-old red-tailed boa.
Oh, 14. How much does she weigh? I was watching you pick her up.
She probably weighs about 40 to 50 pounds, I'd say, close to it. If she feels a lot heavier than she is, probably.
Right.
Because they're super dense. I mean, that's all muscle. Every bit of what her body is all muscle.
Oh, my God. How long is she?
About 8 feet, 8 to 9.
Oh, my gosh. And
I think this is why Alan skipped out on us tonight.
I think it was. He wanted to see how I reacted to the snake. But, yeah, because he was giving me a hard time sending me pictures of snakes. He didn't know that you were actually gonna bring a snake. But, so where does she hail from?
She comes from South America. That's where they're native from.
Okay.
And what they'll do is they'll kind of linger around on the floor of the jungle, and they'll hide in burrows of mammals that they'll eat. Like they'll go in there, find a muskrat or rat or whatever they have down there, kill it, take over its burrow, and they'll wait right there. And that's where their home will be. They don't spend a whole lot of time in the trees.
And how did you get her?
She was actually somebody's pet.
Oh my
I had her.
gosh.
We get a lot of our reptiles like that because their reptiles are pretty easily accessible.
Right.
And a lot of people get them, and they're awesome for years, and they make super good pets a lot of times if you handle them and treat them right and everything. And generally what happens is somebody will get a small kid. They'll have their first kid. Time to get rid of the big snake in the bedroom,
Right. And what is the biggest animal that she can eat?
She could probably eat something about 3 times the width of her head. I don't know if you can see that right there.
Oh, wow.
Because they can dislocate their jaw and take in things that are a lot bigger.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
yeah.
You see how big her body is.
Yeah.
Wide.
And is she dry or is she slimy?
She's not slimy. You can feel her. Touch her. Touch her. Just touch her a little bit.
I'm afraid she's going to look at me. Oh, yeah. Like she is very dry.
Feels like a pair of boots.
Yeah, she really does. I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say it. But
I mean, that's the truth. People use a lot of these. They're one of the prime snakes that people use for that because they're easily accessible.
Right.
And I mean, it's sad. I think there's plenty of other ways that people can make boots and not have to kill an animal to do that.
Right.
Or, purses, etc., all that stuff.
Right.
But it's just, a fact of the matter. People do that.
And is that one of your favorite animals?
I do love her to death. I really do.
Do you?
She's super sweet. Yeah.
So,
I mean, people think a snake, you're like, oh, no, there's no way that's sweet. But, her letting me do this right now, I barely got her.
Right.
I'm keeping her away from you.
I'm very thankful for
welcome.
that you're keeping her away from me. So I see her, she's like wrapped around you, and you hear these stories about people getting wrapped up in the boa and like squeezing. How does that happen? Like right now, she's totally relaxed. She doesn't look like she's going to harm you at all.
Generally, when that happens, it's usually, number one, they're shedding. And whenever they shed, and she's getting ready to shed. I don't know if you can see her eyes are cloudy.
Yeah.
And whenever their eyes are clouded over like that means they're probably getting ready to shed or close to it. And they can't see. So all they feel is heat. And if you've touched your dog or your cat, they smell that, and instantly they're like, well, this is something to eat. And so what they'll do is they'll start constricting. They'll wrap themselves around you and start constricting. And she's wrapped around me a little bit right now, but I can still get loose.
Right.
And a lot of times it's, they're hungry. People get them out and do the stupidest stuff and wrap them right around their neck, which, some animals you can do that with. I get it. If you've worked with them for years. I've never been one to be comfortable enough to try that because, I like myself pretty good. I'm not going to try that. I like what I do and I want to keep doing it.
Right. And you also have to respect the animal.
You do. That's what a lot of what we'll try to teach the kids and stuff is education and respect for the animals that they're able to see, because there are more and more animals every day that are being, becoming extinct or endangered, or there's 2 left.
Right.
And it just blows your mind. So that's a lot of what we'll push is, take care of what we have.
Right.
And treat them with, the utmost respect. Sorry, I'm getting constricted against the chair.
Yeah, so Raisin's at your feet and the boa is up here.
She smells her.
I see her looking down. And I smell Raisin too. If you were in here, you would be like, what is that smell? And the best that I can actually describe it, and this is what I said at first, is if you've ever been in a place where you smell skunk weed, that is what she smells
That's
like.
That's exactly what she smells like, and that's why they call them the skunk pig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you and I were talking about the boa, and I told you that I did hold one once, and I was in high school, and I guess I was probably 18. We stretched it out. It was really long, but I had the end of the boa, and not the head, but the other end. And they were talking about how the Bible talks about how the snakes used to have legs, and then they had to crawl on their belly because of sin. But they still have hip bones.
They do. They still have hip bones, and they'll use those and move forward. And a lot of times, you can't see them right off, but you can feel them when they're moving forward. You can feel them just kind of tracking back and forth as they're moving forward.
That's so weird.
It is strange, but
that's so weird.
And that just goes to show that it's in the Bible. here we are. Snakes do have legs.
Well, I think that was like not the Bible, but my first interaction with Little Ponderosa was when you guys would come to Second Baptist Church and you would do the whole nativity with us. You'd bring the camels. Tell us some more animals that you have down there, because I know that y'all have a lot of exotic animals.
We do. We have a big Siberian tiger, male named Gunther. We have several camels, and we'll take, around Easter and Christmas, we'll take them out and do, events to raise money. And that's a lot of how we raise funds, is going out to go to these churches or these schools, and we're able to talk to people, educate a little bit, and then raise funds to give the animals we do have a better home, or to make homes for the ones that are coming, because they're always coming. It's never ending.
Right. And are you guys a nonprofit, or?
2010, we became a 501c3 nonprofit.
Okay.
So we're all funded by donations.
And so if anybody wanted to donate to you guys, how can they get involved to help you guys out with that?
First off, we have an Amazon wish list that we have on our Facebook page and on our website, and that's just, physical items that we use every day. Towels, cleaning supplies, feed for some of the animals, stuff like that. And that's a good way to give, because you know how you're giving. You know what you're giving to us and how we use it. The second way you can do it is we have, PayPal and all that stuff set up. Or you could write a mail-in. You can mail in a donation if you want to. Or, best thing possibly to do is to come see us, because every time you pay admission, that's going towards the animals and going towards the care of them. Right.
And I told you, I am very ashamed that I have not even been there, and I've lived in Clinton forever.
I'm very ashamed too.
I'm
very disappointed.
I'm going to have to be out there, especially I saw all the pictures last year of goat yoga, and you said it's coming back.
Yep, like the second or third week of April, I believe it's coming up.
And can you explain to people what goat yoga is? Because when I saw it, I was like, that looks really fun.
It is. It's a great big ball of fun is what it is. And, what we'll do is we'll set up an area, and we have a professional yoga instructor come out, and we'll set about 40 goats in there, and everybody's got their own space. And whether you continue to do yoga or just to play with the goats, everybody has a good time.
Right. And that helps the zoo out, right?
It does.
Ooh, look at her. So
hold me like that.
She is, I'm looking at her mouth right now, and it's like, she kind of looks like Elvis a little bit. Yeah. So what is going on with her mouth right now?
It's a deformation that she had when she came into us. And we think it's where she struck at a wall or a fence or something like that, and it just must have hurt her lip. But it never hindered her from eating or doing anything. Okay. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, she's sort of like Elvis right now with her lip like this. Does she have teeth?
Yeah. Yeah, they have little curved teeth that go from front to back. They don't have fangs like a rattlesnake or something like that, because they're non-venomous.
Right.
So what they have is a row of teeth on both sides that are all angled like a fish hook. And what they'll do is, she's showing them to you. What they'll do is whenever they bite you, that's how they latch on, and they'll draw in whatever prey they have. And what they'll do is they'll draw it in. They can't get loose. If you think of 60 fish hooks stuck in you, you're not going to wiggle loose. And they'll bring that prey in, and they won't suffocate them. They'll cut off all the circulation of their major organs whenever they go to squeezing them.
Oh, wow. She looks like she likes me or something. I'm not really sure. So, she's wiggling, and so am I. But, so, when she's, sticking her tongue out, what is she doing?
She's, what that is whenever they do that, they're smelling.
She must smell that chicken I just ate or something.
I think she's smelling raisin at my feet.
Oh, maybe so. Yeah, Raisin's just she's all relaxed under your feet now. And yeah, look, oh my goodness. And so, so I saw this video, and you tell me if it was true or not. I saw a video where they put their boa on, it was like a comforter, but it was a really slick comforter, and the boa was having trouble sliding because it needed friction. Is that kind of how she moves, is by friction?
It is, and if you look underneath them on their belly, you can see that they have these little scales.
Oh, yes.
And what they do is they'll use that to kind of get traction across surfaces. It kind of looks like tire tread.
Right.
That's what I can describe it, and they'll use that to get traction across surfaces.
And so when she is ready to shed, I see her eyes, I can tell how cloudy they are. So when she gets ready to shed, are they kind of like, you know how toddlers, they eat more when they grow? Do they eat a lot so that they can
either or. Usually they'll eat before they shed, just because they don't know how long it's going to take. And one meal for them will do them for a month. If they get a good meal, they're fine for a month.
What? Wow. And how much does she, like, when she eats a good meal, like you said, a good meal, how much is a good meal?
What about, I don't know, something about 3 to 4 pounds. We use like the frozen feeder rats that we'll order online, and it's probably about a 3-pound feeder rat, something like that, similar. Anything that and below, I'd say.
She's opening her mouth at me, and I don't know what that means, because, oh my goodness. I'm pretty sure this is why Alan did. I'm pretty sure he missed this one on purpose.
Yeah, I think he laid out on us intentionally.
But she's actually kind of pretty when she doesn't have her mouth open. But her jaw is huge.
Yeah, like I said, they'll dislocate that jaw so they could fit. I mean, you see how big her head is, and then how big her middle of her body is.
Right.
I mean, I've seen her swallow a rat, and then that'll expand right there. She'll eat a rat so big.
So.
You can always tell when she's got one in her.
Really? Because you can see it?
Lump, just like a Disney cartoon, you know?
I don't know why she keeps looking at me like that, but she is
she's hungry.
She's smelling something.
Yeah.
So when she opens her mouth, it's like her tongue retracts into like a little pocket. And so that's so they can eat better?
Well, yeah, that's so they'll eat better and they'll get the tongue out of the way whenever it goes back in that little pocket.
That I have never, ever noticed that. But
never been that close to
I've been at the other end, and I've seen them at zoos, but this is like the closest face-to-face I've ever been to a snake, besides the black snake I saw in my yard.
Yeah. But you saw him while you were running away, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I saw him, and then I think I did that little Scooby-Doo run where I was running but not moving. But I like that you guys educate people, because, I mean, as she is with me, I become more comfortable when her mouth is closed, that is.
Yeah.
But I become more comfortable because I'm becoming educated about this animal and the dangers or not with them.
Yeah, so it's like when you're educated about an animal, you learn what to respect and how to act around them.
Right.
You know, and a lot of times we'll meet kids that have never seen a goat. They don't know what a goat looks like. You get in the inner cities or something like that, they don't know. They just go off what they've seen on TV.
Right.
So you think of something like that, and they don't know how to act around a goat. What are they going to do when they meet something like this? It can hurt them if they don't know how to respect that animal and how to act around them.
Right. And how many kids do y'all serve a year?
Good Lord. I don't know.
Boat Champions Call wants you to handle the snake.
Oh. I don't know about that.
I'd say every bit about 150 field trips every year, and then not counting like the places we go. We'll do in-school field trips. Where are you going?
Oh, so you guys will take some animals to the schools.
We'll do in-school field trips, or we'll do fairs and stuff like that.
Oh, goodness. That is, she's really curious over there. At least she's moving away from me. So your fiance helps you with these animals too.
Yeah, this is Gloria, my fiance. She's not scared of anything.
She is helping with everything. That's good that she's not scared of anything.
Yeah, you got to be. You got to be a little, not fearless, but
right.
Also respectful at the same time. She's not scared to jump in and help.
Right.
And that's her main thing at the zoo is reptiles. It's what she does. So this is her baby right here.
Oh. Yeah, and I think she likes the camera. She
likes the attention.
She is smiling for the camera. So, will she ever lay eggs or?
No, actually, red-tailed boas, they give live birth.
Really?
They don't lay eggs. What they'll do is they'll incubate their young inside of them, and they'll usually have about 25 to 30, and it'll be a live birth, and they'll birth in a nest.
That is amazing. So, yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of. But it's still a reptile, but it just doesn't lay eggs.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the term, I can't think of the term for when they have live, Viviparous, when they do live. Some snakes they're viviparous and some are not. So some will lay a nest full of eggs, and then others will just have live birth, like these. Anacondas have live birth, and then some other ones will just lay eggs like you'd think they would.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating to me. See, I'm learning so much here. Now, you and I were talking about that you guys have an inmate program where the inmates come out. What do they do when they come out there?
We do. About 4 years ago now, Dad set it up with the Anderson County Sheriff's Department, and they've sent a group of guys out there to help us every single day of the week. And it's helpful to those guys because they get to give back and see the progress of something. We've had guys come in there and raise bottle babies from start to finish.
Oh,
and
wow.
they're able to see like what happens when you take care of something, or what happens when you show love and care to something, and what it can do, And they're a massive help to us. We wouldn't be able to do it without them.
That's amazing.
Massive help.
And have you seen like them change in themselves when they started working with these animals?
I have. And we got told a while back by somebody that was a member of the corrections, and they told us that we had one of the most successful programs in the state.
Really?
Because it's what we do with the guys, and we'll come in there, and then they work every day like it's a job, and we're right there beside them. I never ask any of these guys to do anything I wouldn't do myself. Mm-hmm. And I'll get right in there with them, help them do it. And a lot of times, like, they'll find this animal and get attached to it.
Oh, wow.
Every one of them's usually got an animal they'll get attached to, and they'll come back and see them sometimes. Or I've had the guys call and be like, "Hey, how's Sugar doing? How's she doing?" Like, "Man, she's gonna do good, man. Come by and see her sometime." They'll drop in.
Right. And so it's this sort of rehabilitation for them.
Mm-hmm. We rehabilitate animals and people. And it's something we take pride in, big pride in. And that's something that Dad started a long time ago. Once again, we thought he was crazy. Like, you can bring a bunch of inmates out here? Like, what are you thinking? They're going to take off, But no, they love it.
That really shows your dad's heart for people and animals. Because I think when you have a love for animals, you also have that love for people.
You do.
And because if you're, you see people who are cruel people.
Yeah.
And they're also cruel to animals. Yeah. But when it comes to people, my dad is one of those people. He just loves people.
Yeah.
And he loves all kinds of people and animals, and so it's interesting when you meet someone and you see their heart like that.
And people and animals are similar in the way that a lot of people and animals are both just misunderstood. And I think a lot of times it takes somebody to show a little compassion to find out, hey, what's bothering you? And the same thing with like this guy. Like, if you walked up on her, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
But if you spend a little time with her, you learn that, she's just here to hang out and have a good time like the rest of us, just enjoy life.
Exactly.
Eat a rat or two.
Eat a rat or two. Yes. Well, we are going to continue to talk to Cade about Little Ponderosa, but we're going to take a short break for our sponsors, and we will be right back.
Daniel Forrester has been recognized as one of East Tennessee's leading attorneys for nearly 2 decades. Civil disputes, criminal defense, divorces, and juvenile custody cases are all part of an impressive resume. Daniel's legal experience also includes representing clients in local, state, and federal courts. A husband and a father, Daniel is a Rule 31 certified mediator who has represented hundreds of families in Chancery Court. Call Daniel Forrester Law Office at 865-457-7900 for a free consultation.
From Oak Ridge, Tennessee, IB3 Global Solutions conducts operations around the world to enhance the U.S. national security posture and minimize radiological and nuclear threats. IB3 Global Solutions. Mission first.
Fan Gear Barn is Oak Ridge's source for new and vintage sports fan gear from around the world of sports. Find your favorite team gear at Fan Gear Barn, located at 977 Oak Ridge Turnpike, across from the hospital. Open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., 6 days a week. Closed on Sundays.
Hello, I'm District Attorney General Dave Clark. My fellow DAs and I successfully fought for new elder abuse laws and procedures that have police departments and agencies using improved tools to protect our seniors. Victims of elder abuse are often unable to recognize or report abuse themselves. They need your voice. If you suspect abuse, contact local law enforcement or adult protective services. Let's work together to protect our seniors.
When should you get tested for COVID-19? You have symptoms of COVID-19, such as runny nose, congestion, sore throat, fever, cough, shortness of breath, muscle pain, headache, chills, or loss of taste or smell. Current testing recommendations say everyone should get tested immediately if they have symptoms of COVID-19. If you have symptoms, be sure to follow recommendations about how long to stay home and away from others. For more information, visit our If You Are Sick or Test Positive webpage.
In East Tennessee, winter can be a wild ride of constantly changing weather and cold outdoor fun. Warm up with natural gas heat, hot water, cooking, and soft, comfy clothes. More affordable and reliable than electricity, natural gas makes homes cozy and more valuable. Whether you're a contractor or savvy homeowner, switch to natural gas for your primary energy source. Visit us online at orud.org or call today. Oak Ridge Utility District, your affordable energy source.
And we are back, and I kind of feel like Dorothy right now, except for it's not lions and tigers and bears. It is javelinas and pythons and Cade. And we're having a good time talking to Little Ponderosa and seeing some of their animals. But before we continue, I do want to say thank you so much to all of our sponsors. We have Oak Ridge Utility District, Daniel Forrester Law, IV3 Solutions, and Fan Gear Barn. Thank you very much for supporting us here on Between the Lines. I'm Wendy Maness, and I'm here for Alan Beauchamp. He is out for a little bit, but he'll be back very soon. And so we were talking to Cade about the inmate program that you guys have. And you said your dad started that in around 2011?
No, it was more. It was like I think about 2019.
Okay, I was getting my dates mixed up.
2019 we started that, and it's been nothing but a great success.
Yeah.
Helped a lot of good people, and they helped us at the same time. Made a lot of good friends.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really special because when you think about, sometimes you see people who, maybe they get caught up in the wrong thing, get arrested, and then sometimes people just give up on them.
Yeah.
But that's not what you guys do. You bring them in, love them, teach them what you do, and then in return they are rehabbed as well.
Yeah. If you can show somebody how to care for another living thing, then a lot of times I think that they'll learn how to care for themselves or to care for their family. And I think that's something that was something that our dad told us, and he believed in, and we took with it. And at first, like I said, we thought he was crazy, but at the same time, we saw the good it did.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of events do y'all have coming up? I know it's spring. I know the babies are being born.
We've recently, Tuesday, we had our low sensory night.
And what's that?
We'll have that. It's after hours, usually at the end of the day, 5 o'clock we close. And then 5 to 8, it allows time for people with children with special needs to come down, people that have problems with high sensory environments, loud noises, lots of lights, and lots of big crowds. And what that does is it gives them 2 or 3 hours for them to bring their family and the child down there to enjoy themselves and have a nice, quiet environment. And we do 2 of those a year. We usually do one, first part of March, and then September we'll do another one.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you truly do you kind of you serve everybody.
Yeah.
And that's really special because not a lot of places would do that for kids that need, a quieter atmosphere, a little bit slower pace.
And this is something my dad started all this, and he always served God and he served his community, and that's something he just instilled in me and my brothers, and we stuck with that. And if there's any way we could ever help anybody and help our community, that we're going to do it. So he started out, did one sensory night. It was a great success. Even if you have 3 families come in or 1 family and they come in and they say, we couldn't have done this without this night, it's worth it. That's so worth it to see that one kid have a good time, to do something they're not able to do, on a regular day. That's
amazing because I know I work for Junior Achievement, so we have kids coming in all the time. And sometimes kids are overstimulated, and it's really hard in that atmosphere to be able to move somebody to a quiet atmosphere.
Yeah.
So, but we always try to serve every single child, and I love the fact that you have this special time that children that have these special needs can come in and just focus directly on them. I love that. And so you had that, and do you have anything else coming up?
We have our goat yoga coming up here in about the 2nd or 3rd week of April. We'll have our goat yoga.
I'm going to watch
for that.
When.
I know it's on check our Facebook events. We'll have everything listed on there because I'm terrible at remembering anything. We have that coming up, and then we'll have our community day coming up in May. I think the first week of May we have our community day.
And what's community day?
And what it is we have a day we'll bring in live music, a couple of vendors. Last year we had several vendors, had Kona Ice and a couple of local people that make crafts and stuff like that. A couple of local singers will come down. And what it is we invite everybody from the community to come down. We don't charge admission.
Really?
It's free admission for that day.
And so if people wanted to come and they wanted to come on Community Day, is there a way that they could still donate to you guys while they're there?
Yeah, you can. We're free admission. You can buy feed. You can make a small donation as you come in. You can bring items with you. Anything that you think would help. And we have that list online that everything we use every day. And Community Day for us, and something that Dad started again, was a way for us to give back, and especially because after the barn burnt in 2017, if it wasn't for the community, we wouldn't be here right now.
And how long did it take you to rebuild after that happened?
2 years. We're still working on it.
Wow.
2 years got our main building and our main facility finished, but we're still adding and moving and, just kind of fixing things to where it works a little bit better for the animals that we do take in.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know that you have some nieces, and do you have any nephews as well?
Yeah, I got several nieces, and a few of them work there with us, and then some of them will stop by. I got a couple of nephews. Love them all to death, and they always love to come by.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know I was talking to you about my daughter and Callie are in the same class. So I've always known about it, and I know she loves.
Callie's my favorite employee.
Is she? Yeah, I know she loves
She's the only
animals.
one that I can honestly give crap to every day, and I know she can't do anything about it.
Right. But do you think that maybe they want to carry on the legacy after you guys?
I hope so. And I hope that, in the good, the heart that my dad had, and as much as we've got, I believe that'll just be passed down generation to generation. And I think that, she's wanting to go to school to be a vet. And obviously, that's where that comes from, is working with us and working with animals.
Right. And so she's wanting to go to school to be a vet. So obviously that legacy of love of animals has been passed down to her, and then to you and all your brothers and sisters. And it's just, I can't wait to come out there now.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Like I said, I'm really disappointed in you. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. And what's so funny is my kids. Emily started. She was born in 2004, so it was she was 4 when you guys started. And I don't know why I haven't ever gotten out there, but I'm going to now. Yeah. And I think I'm going to sign up for goat yoga. I'm going to make sure to put that on my calendar.
Can you make Alan sign right up next to you then? Alan needs to come there. It's a good time for him to stretch his knee out. Just come there and do goat yoga with us.
Yes, and he doesn't even have to do anything. He can just play with the goat if he wants to.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
And so we talk about this goat yoga, and so you can play with it, but I have seen people the goat will crawl up on their back. Does that ever happen?
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So y'all have a bunch of fun things going on. Do you have any fun things for Easter?
We generally in Easter, we'll kind of decorate the place up. We don't do a whole lot there for Easter, but we'll go to churches and schools and stuff like that and do Easter programs.
Oh, fun.
We'll take a few animals out and do stuff like that.
I do remember when my kids were little, and y'all brought some rabbits to, I think it was a Second Baptist. They had an Easter egg hunt, and there was some rabbits there and little chicks and stuff, and so that was fun. So I have seen your animals, but I have learned so much tonight.
Well, that's the goal. That's what we come to do, is educate and teach people how to respect and love animals.
And so, do you ever get a lot of older people come out there just to learn about the animals?
We do. We get a lot of older people, and a lot of retirement homes will bring people out there because we're 100% handicap accessible. The whole place is asphalt and fairly level. We got one small hill that you can avoid easily.
Right.
And they love it because you can get right up and touch them. And which you're stuck in a retirement home, it's hard because you're not just able to go out and run down the road and pet your neighbor's goat or whatever.
Right. Now, can you pet all the animals there?
80%. You can pet about 80% of the animals we have. The only ones you can't pet is the ones that could possibly inflict some damage.
Right, so like the tigers.
Yeah, obviously we're not going to have it where you can pet a tiger or pet a serval or hold a monkey.
Right.
But you can get, within inches.
That is
safely
amazing.
Within inches.
That's amazing. And y'all are doing some really, really great work. And as I said at the beginning, it's not just for Anderson County, but for the whole United States, because as you said, you have been all around.
Yep.
Rescuing these animals and then taking care of them and keeping them there. And do most of them stay with you until death?
Yeah, 90% of them will stay with us, and the other 10% will go to other zoos and other rescues.
Wow, that's amazing. And you said you rescued her from a zoo.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes, thanks, Cade, for coming and talking about this. And I can't wait to come out there. And I hope you will go to Little Ponderosa as well, because they are doing amazing things. If you want to donate to them, you can go see them. You can go to their Amazon wish list, and you can check it all out on Facebook. But I am Wendy Maness, and I'll be back next week to talk to you about junior achievement. I'm going to have Callie Archer on here, and we're going to talk to you about the good things they're doing in Anderson County. And if you have any questions, I'm sure you can reach out on Facebook to Cade, and he can tell you everything else you need to know about any of these animals and what they're doing at Little Ponderosa Zoo. Thanks so much, and I will see you guys next week. But I still have a few more seconds, so I'm just going to keep on saying thanks, Cade, because I really did have a blast, even with the snake.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
well,
you are very welcome.
Now you know a little bit more about snakes. You're a little bit more comfortable. Not even get one as a pet.
Maybe.